here, ladies and gentlemen. Aragosta starting off in the blue. It's going to be Alan's Workshop in the red as we go into this first mid-domain.
What an immersion that was set ablaze by the cut, but now nothing really is cutting the edge here as it's a slow approach. Davey was the first to the Smith, but Kusuki is already high panorama bombing. Doesn't really find a consequential position to land in. Picks up the health pack. Now Phoenix might initiate so much damage. Which one? Solo rocket. Sia is the first one to fall after this entire fight concluded a little bit early on, but they're still flickering about.
Yeah, just the one pick, but it feels they have to get out of there now as it goes on longer with the firepower. 5v6 is going to be difficult for Aragosta to continue the fight. So they're just going to back up to second, stabilize, get themselves in position. Everyone playing around the high ground. Oh, I say that actually. Vanu's just sitting under, watching that lower area. He spotted Phoenix there. So they know where that flank is likely to be pushing in from, but at the moment the combo is in sewer.
They're conglomerating up upon Al-Qaeda. Now it's a high panorama bump once more from Kazuki. He's bombing in so much damage into the face and into the backs of those players. Maurice lives on around 40 HP. Very fearful already. We're in the lower bracket. You have no second chances. It's all to play for.
Yeah, Maurice just holding on to that nicely, informed by the rest of his team that no one else was committing there. I think if another player had committed, it would have been quite an easy force. Maurice definitely would have had to pop there, but just the solo bomb doesn't quite work out because he got pretty close there, but wasn't quite enough. And at the moment, I mean, we've seen basically nothing here from Aragosta. They haven't really chanced their hand whatsoever. They're happy to sit back, absorb the aggression, and it's probably going to be back up for Alan's Workshop to break this open.
Suki on the Sniper class, he just tried his hands on the bombing class, but now has the upper hand, a greeting from Counter-Strike. Traveling, trundling, traversing to sewer and maybe even to Al-Qaeda, which is a little bit of the left launch pad. Now waiting for players to open up the shutter. 150 damage. It's a fully charged body shot. Snipers tend to say they took headshot. Vanu, however, is falling to Jumpo stickies.
Yeah, with Vanu going down now, the flank is potentially a little bit vulnerable, a little bit open, and you can see it's actually Omga thinking about running in, but Maki is more than a match for him. It's allowed some space.
Oh, he had the full sideline there on Maurice, and Maurice saw the sniper. He was on full health, but if a headshot rings out there, that is a completely different story. It forces the Uber.
Yeah, beautiful force. Just the combination of Phoenix taking the space, Kazuki on the sniper. You can't dodge away from that soldier and avoid those sidelines. So Maurice smartly has to pop in that situation. Now they're stuck back on last, and Wild Piggy himself has full advantage.
Juxta is juxtaposed to the players that are on their cookie cutter classes. He was on sniper, didn't really find a favorable angle. Now the sentry gun is once more turned into the ground. Phoenix still battles about in the panic room. A little bit of cap time is already secured. Umgar is still on it. No one is really contesting it. It's a 3K. Sneaky and Phoenix and Umgar, they all perish from the scene. Vanu is on here for the chase. Kazuki only on the sniper, really has to leave. Finally, he's still staying in somehow, but Davey says maybe you have something else to say about it. Jumpo, however, responds in kind.
Yeah, I mean, he's going down there, but the good news, at least for Alan's Workshop, is they did get Wild Pig out of there. It's still going to be considerable uber advantage for Maurice, but good defense there on the last point. And now Maurice thinking about moving in through this midpoint. He's been able to negotiate pretty neatly there. Quite, I'd say comfortable negotiation. But actually the bomb comes in from Phoenix, gets damage down to Maurice, but there is a health pack waiting for him. And once more, the solo sack is not enough.
Phoenix has spread his wings so often there, but ultimately did not find it. However, you know how the story goes. He does get reincarnated and maybe even gathers additional strength. Now 100% Uber guns glowing on both of those sides. Sia only has a little bit of idle spam from behind the lines. And now Becky is already charging in. No really singular big rocket flung upon Maurice. It's a very safe trade out, but Juxta and company, they're leaving their forward positions.
I like how Alan's Workshop played that, because it looked like they were very committed there on Aragosta. I thought they were going to have to commit to a trade, but Alan's Workshop, they just held strong. They just held their position, backed up a little bit, allowed a little bit of space, but crucially, the bomb came in, they dealt with it, and then they made sure they didn't eat any of that long-range demo man spam coming in from importers. So crucially, just once more, it's going to be Wild Piggy, nice and safe, Uber ready to go, so they can just wait once more for maybe some kind of sack, or maybe we'll see some other kind of shenanigans.
It has been the soldier showdown show for the majority of the 5 minutes that we have already witnessed this game. It is obvious since we are settled on second points for a prolonged period of time. Meki now coming through the IT area. IT sometimes stands for intelligence, since he is not spotted, and that's a very intelligent play. So much damage, not able to follow up.
No, not quite. Maurice actually went down very low in the meantime as well with the counter-sack. And Sneaky is thinking about it. They know that everyone has to play super far back to make sure their medic is nice and safe. So, I mean, there's a brief window there, but obviously with just the single pick, they didn't feel they could really chance their hand.
Poking and prodding, a rather orthodox approach. Vanu now switches to the sniper role. He has the bone in hand with the skull attached and maybe sending shivers down their spine. Now Vanu is creeping up to field progress, I want to say. But, okay, third. No, 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 you can do it. Fourth. Yes. Way! Fantastic, Vanu, you've done it. But he is now in a position where he can also be seen from the scout that is peering toward the fence.
Yeah, you can see a scout, you can see the fence in the way, so can't actually shoot him, but maybe deny that angle, and yeah, smartly, scout just backs up, doesn't want to go down, but probably spotted Varney himself, so now they have information that that sniper is there. It's a lot easier to deal with.
He has the Manco reskin, and I just realized that. I'm not sure if you even hate him for that. Now Vanu also still scopes up the angles there. So much damage flung upon Meki since they rotated their combo. Sneaky that is with Wild Piggy to the IT area. Now the force is eventually coming out since so many players were forward. It's an exchange. Sneaky is trying to assume the top role indeed, and now all the compatriots are coming in. Tau on them. It's a double bomb into the choke. Nothing of value was lost, however, and Sneaky is dying in this afterfight.
Yeah, no health at all on Aragosta, but they're just about able to go in. But actually, Kazuki flanks right, takes out Debbie, takes out Maurice McIntyre as well. An absolute nuke from Kazuki.
The collapse comes in. If you think you have one flank checked, yeah, that's great, but maybe you should have also checked the other soldier. Now, though, as Maurice is spawning, that's a 50% Uber advantage. Vanu still walking around on 18 to 43 health. Doesn't really find any consequential damage shot, no angle either. And it is now Alan's Workshop posturing up on the second. And do you think they will push the catch?
Yeah, I mean, they still have considerable advantage there and dealt very well with that second push, just waiting, probably knowing that Vanu's up on sniper. Vanu plays a lot of sniper, so they're more than ready for it. Now their own Uber is up in Wild Piggy's hands.
The dot push comes forth here, stampeding and trying to gore some players. It's only really the sentry gun that gets turned once more into the ground. Sneaky is collapsing this point with his body, so something is gained, but it's a scuffle now on the right side. Davey is falling, so no defensive stickies anymore. Yimpo still on the field, can maybe progressively come into the afterfight. Yes, sticking toward that point, but it's a flank. Sia and Vanu, Sneaky down. Phoenix as well. It's easy to read the kill feed because 3 players are down. Kazuki stays a 1v1 battle here, wins that versus Meki ultimately. This push is thwarted.
Absolutely. We joke about Vanu spinning a wheel to come up on a different class. He came up on a visible heavy this time. Nobody focused him, nobody shot him. He was just able to sit there with the Tomislav doing rat-a-tat-tat damage over the course of that last point. And very difficult to remove it in that
Phoenix
situation.
flying once more in, and he would have dropped the medic if Maurice didn't even pop. He didn't even see the flying soldier, but they essentially saw so many red players in the front, and their eyes were glaring up with frag potential. It attenuated, however, the stakes here for the red team, as they are already also sort of early force. But Yampo is jumping in, and Maurice has to surf it out, but no, it's Kazuki once more coming in from behind, and the pincer movement might work out. Juxtaposed to all those other players into the respawn queue, joining them conjointly, so only Sia left alive.
Absolutely no escape. Kazuki on the wraparound from behind, perfectly positioned
hello.
for the pincer.
What? What? That was wild. That was wild. What was that?
Crazy, crazy stuff. I mean, Wild Piggy going down is bad news bears here for Alan's Workshop. They're going to have to back up. They've got the second cap at least, so they have that in their possession. They have a little bit of space and control, but they're going to have to back up now. Maurice, he's got the heals crucially forward now. A little bit of Uber advantage, but it's still quite a while before Uber comes up through the side.
This is one of those small infinitesimal moments that can really cost you in the mindset, but no, don't worry, full mindset reset. However, no Uber gun reset as a 20% Uber advantage. I'm tempting toward a prediction that Aragosta might not make anything out of that if they don't get any proactive situation. It seems to be the way, though, of the red team, trying to find something cheeky from Choke, from IT. Nothing of note is found. Aragosta only capping it now.
Yeah, very easily and smoothly taken from Aragosta. Both of the soldiers were down. They knew there was no attempt for a sack, but then now is an opportunity. Phoenix sinking rockets in that choke point. Actually takes out Devi. Maurice backed up and went away from it, kited it backly, very nice, but Davey is going to fall either way. Sio's up in the air, both soldiers.
The bomb from Wild Piggy. White Piggy did not bomb, he got bombed. And now Sneaky, though, on a 4K. It seems to be the soldier showdown once more, but let's see. There is a wonderful win there from Vanu versus Sneaky, who has his combatant readily set up with the deathmatch, and Yempo is now charging forward. They have man advantage, they have health advantage, and they are probably happy to bunker since it is 6s in process.
Yeah, slightly questionable Gantu, but I have to say there, just the 2 scouts on the beam and no explosive damage to follow up on, so didn't really work out. They're going to have to back up. But at least they have control of mid still here, Tomatoes, so, I mean, at the moment, neither side really piercing.
Simply buffing their soldiers up to a higher health bar, and once players reach the fullest fitness, Mackie will do that once he spawns. And maybe we see some more shades here, but Sia only having, I don't know, a field day, practicing rocket jumps there. But essentially we are only waiting for another crack shot go at it here, waiting for Mackie, Sia to spawn, maybe even off class coming out. Never mind, it's a double soldier, so very cookie cutter.
Yeah, at the moment, just chilling, neither side really chancing their hand, neither side really doing anything crazy. I mean, this would basically be the kind of time you'd expect Vanu to find some way to sack in and probably go some crazy class. Maybe Spy, maybe Sniper.
Maybe Sniper.
Who knows? Spin the wheel and find out.
Maybe Sniper. I'm not sure. Maybe. Oh, Vanu is on Sniper. Who would have known? I'm also guessing that he probably has practiced the jumps here onto the rock. You see my third eye is open. Okay, never mind. He's not even tempting his luck. He's going toward this interesting position now, but you need a complementary player to hold it open, and nothing is found. The Yumpo also crouching, since he did predict something definitely with his third eye, but the soldier also waiting here concurrently, though, jumping out, throwing himself up, but while Piggy has to hide behind this wall, and now Sia has Phoenix walled. Kusuki, however, walls Vanu.
Yeah, crucially taking out that Sniper. It could be very pesky to deal with in that sewer. Actually, bomb coming in once more. Sia getting, I mean, not really significant damage at the end of the day, just nicely dealt with, nicely juked away from Wild Piggy and allowing his scout just to follow up. And now they're thinking about moving towards this choke point. They're at least posturing up, taking their position. I mean, Kazuki can't enter from sewer. I don't think there's an entry either for Phoenix, so they're probably just going to back up and once more hold position. Somehow
the medic wasn't nuked. I wasn't even sure why there was no damage number going onto that medic, but maybe imbued with some more cardboard suicidal waves. We have soldiers high bombing. We've almost hit the mid marker. Phoenix, that is fantastic. That would have been even better if there would have been a player there to shoot. Now 100 HP, really only trading out the health pack numbers. Mackie now has another leap. And they are having a double soldier sack here, but unfortunately Wild Piggy hit behind his own players.
Yeah, a bunch of players hit there for Alan's Workshop, and crucially no frags from that double soldier. Now it's a lot easier to take this choke point. You can just roll on through, don't have to worry about bombs, don't have to worry about spam at long range. With Sneaky going down, that's probably going to be a cancelled push now for Alan's Workshop. Back to this second point and a full reset. Seems we've been on this for a while now, Tomato.
That must have been faulty intelligence. They're very weird that Sneaky, who is the spearhead of this entire push, just falls down there while they are in the transitional phase of taking space. But Yompo is so weak on HP. Ultimately not Kratos, but the secondary soldier is flying in. Sia at 2K. Sneaky cleans him off. No Uber use from the blue squadron. So far, Juxta, though, firmly set on the respawn queue. Sneaky forces his ultimately.
Yeah, and it's just Impo Wild Piggy backing up. I mean, I thought that was really smartly played. Great bomb from Mackie. Knew he couldn't. He got a clear opening through IT, but couldn't get onto the medic. But just crucially got the damage down, followed up syncing with his other soldier partner, and they just got the damage down, even if they didn't get the important classes.
Then Vanu didn't get the memo. 1 HP is enough. Phoenix cleans off Mackie on the side flank. They weren't really aided by the spawn times of Alan's Workshop. I think if Alan's Workshop had 2 to 3 more seconds onto 2 to 3 of those classes, probably pushed it and maybe even nailed the last push. But now we have entered the half-minute marker. No team is leading so far. It's a mild Uber advantage for a team that is holding last, which will mean nothing of note will come of that. Ongo's checking in the spawn on Spy. No off classes on Aragosta either.
Bit of a crazy contrast from yesterday, isn't it, Tomato?
Yeah.
We saw these two teams really just scrap it out, take every fight, take every chaotic situation they could, and now they're playing much more sensible, much more measured TF2, and it's good to watch in a different kind of way. Might not be super exciting, but you're seeing both of these teams play a lot smarter and kind of testing each other out, feeling each other out. I mean, it could be a long game. It is best of 3 here.
Banu is cracking this one open from the one area, and already Yompo down to 3 HP. Can they follow up on this damage? He receives now an aiding bolt, but Sia also has a lot of rockets forward, and they are slowly busting this open. Vanu still in the panic room. I think they want to turn this into a force play if they can, or even into a better push.
Oh!
Biggie drops! Sia comes in with the most crucial rockets, and Aragosta, the lobster, has the grabs on that last point, but not if they have something else to say. Maurice is on a 5k, somehow sneaky falls. How did they not manage to get that push?
Oh my god, they committed to the push when they didn't have the players. It was just Medic and Demo. He had the Uber. That was exactly what he wanted. Could have just backed out of there, but they committed to try and take the fight. And Demo is never going to kill 2 scouts in that situation. Just really bad decision macro-wise after what was really nice play. I mean, it was a bit of a mistake as well from Alan's Workshop. I think they swapped off the engineer at a really bad time. It really exposed Wild Piggy, and once they took him down, it should have just been plain sailing to back out and utilize your Uber advantage, but they just overcommit to the push and really pay for it. I mean, at least they're still on second here, Aragosta, so it's not the end of the world. They have a tiny bit of advantage, probably nothing to push through.
But can be the same bane as yesterday, Dave, when you don't solve your conversion rates, maybe the enemy team will do on the flip side. Vanu, I think, wants to lead this push a bit more prominently. Hello, there's a soldier. He is ultimately flopped out and swapped out. One is still occupied and officiated by Davey, who's still up to 260 HP. Maybe it's a force play this time around, and if you force the enemy medic, you don't push as in the prior engagement that we saw. Nothing really is happening though. A lot of damage numbers being flung up, but nothing of relevancy is found.
Yeah, Sia peeked through 3 and looked for some kind of opportunity to bomb, but kind of saw that level 2 sentry gun and thought better of it. Just trying to focus down the spam. At the moment, the sentry is holding strong, up to level 3 now, up around the point. They're actually going to build a dispenser, so we're going to do a full engineer defensive hold here on Process. And when it's you've got this medic hiding in this dispenser like that, usually sniper is what you turn to.
What are these reskins, by the way, on the side of Aragosta? It looks like Cosmic Horror on those explosive weapons on the primaries. Sneaky only scoping out the angle. Hello, Kisugi finds someone there. Mackie in the rollout side, and it's essentially a 1v1 trade. 150 HP. We only see the kill streak flaring up in the top right corner, and it is a trade until Sneaky decides, hey, I get one more, I get shot by a scout, and he even claims me after all. I was already getting ready for the close range headshot.
Yeah, seems less a trade and more a really good deal here for Alan's Workshop, but I mean, with only a minute left before a round reset, they're not going to push out. They're not going to risk it. It doesn't really make sense. Even with 3 picks, it is way too risky.
And force play! Oh, it is that dispenser armor blowing up, and ultimately Wild Piggy has to use. We saw the level 3 dispenser pre-damaged by the winger, and then also the sentry gun rockets flying in. If a medic hides his own sort of ragdoll inside the dispenser, you can't take this, but they now have a full 100%, only 30 seconds to go though.
Yeah, they've got to push on the dot here. Trying to go in through 4. It's going to be onto a demo. It's going to be Mackie jumping forward as well. It's still got Bootis up in the heaven. He's taking a lot of damage, but Sneaky's just going to shoot down. Lots cap time coming in now. Surely is going to be enough to see out.
Heavy
Devi
weapons
walking
guy.
towards the point, bombing from Mackie once more, but it seems that the Alan's Workshop game is a sudden stroke, just Devi to deal with.
1, and it's all glowing red here finally. The only casualty there was Sneaky going down. They might even be able to catch out Maurice and then lay a claim on that second point, because overtime only resets the entire round if you don't have the grabs on one of the points, and they exactly did that. Now Feature is 60%, Uber advantage. It was interesting. I mean, Sneaky just soaked it up all on the last sort of hold. There was the only one going down. Yampo now trails, traverses and trundles through his own IT area. There are high bombs. They are safely securing it. 30% Uber advantage.
Yeah, just a decision as well. They could have opted not to cap that out, but feel that the advantage is enough for them to work with. And now they're going to have to try and chance their hand. At least they got cap on mid now. Moving in through Alcohol. Now just going to pop straight in Impo. And Kazuki bombing super simply. Phoenix, actually, he's going to be gunned down. He's going to be taken out. They've taken out Devi for the meantime, but Juxer is ready to go with the Uber himself. Seer just missing a close air shot onto Sneaky, who swivels in the air out of that incoming rocket. And with once more an Uber more or less wasted here for the side of Aragosta. Actually going to try and push dry.
Still 0-0. Anyway, we have really just been flip-flopping to one last point, to one last point, to the second point, to the second point, always ring around the rose ring and eventually piggybacking off their own advantages. Phoenix now assumes his own role there on the little roof above. Sua, Kosuke, however, tries to put some more players into the abattoir. Nothing is found. It's a very methodical game. I will repeat myself until the semantic satiation sets in, Dave, because this is the last chance to stay in this tournament. It's a lower bracket. Once you lose here, you're out.
Absolutely, and they are playing a little bit more cautiously. I mean, I like the idea there from Aragosta. They would definitely try a little bit more with only 4 players up, just peeking in, knowing it was off, but knowing it was dry. But this time it's actually going to be Alan's Workshop, and they do get the force out quite early there with the Seer Bomb.
Wild Piggy is trusting in his mechanics, but ultimately only does so much. 8 HP on Yampo as well. They are cutting their losses, barreling out of there, hurrying, scurrying at least their entire squadron out alive. It's a daunting prospect, a barrel of 80% Uber advantage. They're still eyeing up toward as Maurice is beaming his own players in the choke. There's a high bomb from Phoenix, still on 200 HP there. Ultimately! And Kazuki snaps him with a Thanos finger. The potatoes we have at home are great. He is definitely showing the Irish pride right there.
Yeah, a little bit greedy there from Maurice. Kazuki landing it on top of him, didn't really hit a nice enough surf, and he pays for it. Pays for it with the drop. Now Wild Piggy, he himself has 80%. Second is already done and dusted. This is a chance for an Uber advantage push. This is a chance for a round now for Alan's Workshop after what has been an enormously long first round.
Don't worry, Alan's Workshop, we have a carry player at home. Carry player at home, Kazuki. He's been doing so well this entire game, honestly, and this was just a cherry on top. They are opting now for the 5 area, Sentry on only level 1. It is a very easy spam, and now Idle Prattle might come in for the enemy team. So much cap time already gained, and now the Reflash comes in too. Then Safeguard, the own capturers, and so much damage still. Sneaky though falling. Omga not on the field. The heavy weapons guy might come into a more active situation right now. It's prevalent here that Kazuki, Yampo, and Wild Piggy still live, but they hold on with a hair.
Really, really nice hold by Aragosta. See, just putting his body on that point, put his life on the line. Kazuki's in with a bomb now, but he's just gonna puff. Oh, knock Davey back, and Maurice himself eats long range spam. But he looks just about safe for now, and they have Uber ready to go.
Ready to go, ready to rumble, mayhaps through this choke point area. Phoenix once more high bombs, but I have another soldier. Let's meet in the next 10 seconds again. 10 out of 10 stars, a high five in mid-air. Unfortunately, Phoenix is the recipient of that play. It narrowed down the Uber deficiencies here, 10% only, capping the midpoint. 6 minutes still to go. I'm just repeating what you see on the top of your screen, but it is so incrementally of importance since 0-0. I can't repeat myself more often.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it hasn't been slow, it hasn't been stalemate.
No.
It's been back and forth. They've been scrapping with each other, but it seems these two teams are so neatly matched. Cannot put a piece of paper between them. And at the moment, I mean, we're going to have to play at least another 5 minutes here. Potentially golden cap as well. And actually, yeah.
Vanu is on the Assassin's lead spy class. I thought he was only checking, but maybe he's also checking whether or not Wild Piggy is turning around. No! Oh, what was that? Not a backstab! Is he going to butter knife him? Almost there. Yompo, bit confused, most probably. A Frenchman at that. That just adds injury. No, that's not the case. But Kozuki is down. What else?
Yeah, immediately they put themselves in that choke there, Alan's Workshop, and look for the counter. Saxia, though, is bombing in, but doesn't really get the high base. Just the way, and Mackie, he gets the force.
He is claiming the force, the counter force once more, and now Maurice has a 100% Uber advantage. It has leapfrogged once more. And really just salting the wound there, that is what I wanted to say since I stumbled through the Oxford Dictionary. They are now opting toward this IT side of living, buffing their troika of Doom up alive, and maybe can even catch out any more players if they are not able to watch this lower area. No, it's a very methodical approach. Davey has Sticky's forward. They still do feature a 50% Uber advantage.
Yeah, they can still go here. They're looking to go. He's in through forwards onto Davey. He's got a sentry gun in front of him. Sentry gun deleted in double quick time. Sia's going to jump up top. Everyone is just landing on top of Sticky. Sticky's very, very low. You're going to have to block the cap as well. All the nukes are coming in. The soldiers onto the point. There's still Sia in the back, but that's about all. Maurice claimed as well by Phoenix jumping forward.
They didn't get enough done with their Uber, and that is a nice dance. But they didn't get enough done with their Uber early enough. Kited it very easily from Aragosta through Panic Room, then back into spawn, and then the soldiers could re-bomb, essentially cover so much space. Phoenix is a bit shot there in mid-air. Kratos ultimately. Vanu takes that frag any day of the week.
Yeah, very, very nice. Not clean by any means, but it's effective regardless. Mackie as well, eating a little bit of spam, almost met the same kind of fate that we saw by Phoenix, but he's going to land on a health pack for his troubles. So once more, they're just going to hold on to territory. And maybe they're not, because Vanu's just going to peek alone at the moment.
Vanu, what are you? He has zero support, he has zero over here, but they're trying to bait the counter jumper. You saw it there as our POV faded a bit looking at the choke. Also, I think Vanu is just looking, he's staring at the rock. That is his final boss, as we saw before. But 4 minutes, basically 3 minutes, not even in round reset territory anymore. Just very, very slow and methodical game once more.
Yeah, that was a considerable Uber advantage there from Wild Piggy. A full 40 seconds of advantage lost. I mean, I guess they just felt they didn't have the momentum, and pushing onto mid, even with an advantage, if you have a couple players down, can be very treacherous. So just thinking better of it, but I don't know, I'm seeing a play from IT here.
Perfect. Since they realized Vanu was in the sewer area, so they instantly repopped and pushed behind them. The problem is they have a much longer Uber duration, and now this inconclusive insurrection might help Piggy to be brought back to the slaughterhouse. It is the only frag they have gathered, but they have Uber advantage now, they have heals advantage now, and that should definitely be boding very well for last push that is oncoming.
Absolutely crucial. Didn't get too many kills, but got the important one. Got the one onto Wild Piggy with that speed shot through the choke. So now they have Uber advantage. Maurice not building as optimally as he could by any means, but they're still going to have quite a large window here to push with. Just waiting outside, making sure there's no shenanigans, making sure they're not going to go down over peeking to a sniper until that Uber's ready to go.
You can tread slowly but calmly, buff all your players up to a higher fitness and slowly travel Vanu on his main class, essentially, even on process. It is a derivative. If we see, by the way, the Uber is coming in, there's nothing of note found. Only the sentry gun really is turned once more into the ground, and now though the counter bombs are unleashed, that was not the play that they are banking on. Vanu also falls. I'm not. Maurice should also be. No, what is he doing? Yes, holding the solemn vow, and that is the head play, the intelligence play. Do no harm. Well, harm is done.
Oh my word! What an absolute fail push! But then he just sneaks in Maurice. He is absolutely on fire. He has too much brain power for these Allen Workshop gamers, and Aragosta go 1-up with only a minute left to play.
You can only say solemnly, wow, that was fantastic. I mean, he was just having the head in the hands, and now it's basically speedrun here. Speedrun for Allen's Workshop, since you really have to pressure cook this, as Sia is trying to control the top area, but once you delay like 10 or 20 seconds on each point, it's probably going not to matter. Maurice is being bombed, but they can safeguard their own medic, a little pipe there in midair. Maurice ultimately claimed, but that seemed to be the last resort play.
Yeah, Davey doing his best, hitting every of those close range pipes to defend his team, and defended most of his team, but crucially didn't defend the medic enough. Sia's absolutely deleted as well from Impo, just absolutely stomped. Nowhere near enough time to work with though, and it looks like they've already settled.
It's garbage time. Now it's going to tick down only 10 seconds. I'm a bit phantasmagorically put out of proportion here, as at least the midpoint for Allen's Workshop is there. Phoenix bombing in. Come on, Maurice, you ruined the game for us. At least you can die. He doesn't even die. So it's Aragosta taking their revenge. Yesterday, they lost that in a nail biter. I already said it, Dave. I was ready to say, okay, and Maurice also gets caught out, but is that player of the LAN? I'm not sure, but definitely player of this very day already.
Crazy, crazy stuff. I mean, it was very big contrast from yesterday, but I mean, I don't have too many words for that backup, so maybe we'll pass it over here, back to the desk, back to Spire.
Absolute cinema there over in that final few moments. Maurice, the pug star himself, taking on a 1v5 clutch CS style. But unlike in CS, in a 1v5, you normally have a weapon to fight with. It's like going into a CS 1v5 with just a knife and winning and just clutching completely.
He got the ninja defuse.
Yeah, it's a ninja defuse. It genuinely is. It's the equivalent of that, but in TF2. I've never seen anything like this. What about you, Sodium?
You must feel so bad for Kazuki, to be honest. He jumps in, pretty much gets a 4K there, and then they just let the medic backcap a 1v5.
Yeah,
we were chatting so much rubbish on the sofa about, oh, they beeped another full ad purge, and then they pull out of the bag, and I don't know. That was gimmicky. That was a rough game, I think, for both teams though.
It was, and I've got to say, looking at like how those pushes were going, I think they actually on Aragosta needed something like that to happen. What about you guys? I know they had the better of the play, I think, but I wasn't particularly impressed by how some of these pushes went.
No, I think if you look at the game between these two teams, something ridiculous had to happen for someone to make a round, because full red pushes were failing left, right, and center. Both sides. It wasn't pretty, but they did get it over the line.
Yeah, the whole game just felt like it was a lot of unforced errors. We saw a lot of Uber forces that I don't think should have happened, or just a lot of Uber pushes that didn't really need to happen, or just focusing down the wrong targets. I think Aragosta really were struggling on those last pushes a lot, I think especially. I think we just saw them not focusing the right targets or trying to go for flashy plays that weren't working, rather than just playing the point or, killing the gun and just walking over and killing the heavy. Because, I feel like every push that they failed, I remember two specifically, the heavy just doesn't die. And, it's so simple. Just that you kill the gun, you kill the heavy, you seem to win process last, right? Unless the soldiers are crazy, hit some air shots. But they'll have to take that into next map, because that was messy, that was close, and I think both teams need to take a breather and think about how they're going to approach product.
Yeah, there's one weird thing to mention here, because it turns out that was actually Allen's Workshop's map pick. And I'm going to you, Sodium, because obviously you've adminned many, many tournaments in your time. You've obviously dealt with many, many pick bans. I need an opinion. Does pick ban actually matter in TF2?
I think so, but I think more in regards to the game mode sometimes.
Okay.
More, because some teams struggle on COF, some teams don't. Do you have a good perma sniper for product, or do you not? And then from that, you already get a slight disadvantage.
We're seeing Vanu Classic, aren't we?
We might well be. We actually have the full pick ban here, but yes, it is product next, and it's going to be an interesting one over with that potential classic sniper, potential other off classes as well. Kasuke loves a sniper play
That's true.
on as a soldier classing off. So yeah, fabulous stuff there. And just a quick little aside before we get into too much detail into what might be happening on product. There's actually some news posted just on the Discord a moment ago. If you are in the building, there is a new viewing area that has opened up. We're seeing it on our screens now. It's just on the first floor. If you go up the stairs, just on the right-hand side, this whole new area is not been populated too much yet because I'm not sure people know about it. But you see lots of cool little couches, sofas, and yeah, lots of space to go and watch the rest of these games. Because as more teams get knocked out, the bar might be getting busier and busier. So yeah, if you are in the venue, do feel free to hop upstairs and join us just next to production to watch any more of the games. But speaking of the games, there's potentially a long way to go in this series. I honestly thought that was going to Golden Cap. I thought we were going to still be playing at this point. I do not know how on earth we managed to have that final round. But now coming into products, like they played a very messy game yesterday against each other. It was really scrappy, aggressive, back and forth. Koth feels like the perfect game mode for that to get unleashed.
Yeah, we can have a little look at how scrappy things really got here. I mean, those medics, I'm surprised actually to see those stats of the medics dying so little. Maybe it was just they were getting forced more, but it felt like the medics were constantly just in danger. But I guess it was just kind of back and forth, soldiers dying a lot, sacking through, trying to get something happening. But yeah, as you said, a lot of the time, if we go to product, those scrappy plays can work. Or sometimes it's just playing those uber advantages really well. Can you edge cap the point well? Can you take your scout trade effectively and not have to multi-flash? And I think we might see a struggle, I think with Aragosta especially. Even though it's their map pick, I worry. I see Davey a lot overextending. And I do worry if he gets disconnected from the combo and he goes too deep over the point and doesn't have the support. That it's so easy on a pin, just that one demo man down just means so much pressure is gone that it just allows potentially Anne's Workshop just to steamroll over them.
Yeah, I think it's, as Ben mentioned, it's a map that lends itself really well to some scrappy plays, and this has been the scrappiest of plays between these two teams, not only today, but yesterday as well. So I think we're out for a banger.
It's going to be weird as well because we sort of alluded to a moment ago that that both these teams have players that enjoy playing Perma-Sniper. We're going to have Vanu on over on Aragosta probably going on to Sniper with whatever rifle he chooses. He's picked up pretty much everything at this point. We know he's willing to test the limits of the meta and you know, just pull out whatever he feels right. The Classic has served him well in the past as well. But when it's like Sniper v Sniper, obviously a lot of the eyeballs are going to be on those snipers. Is there anyone like around the supporting cast that you think could like thrive in a Sniper v Sniper environment?
I mean, I think the sniper's the only one who thrives. Who will survive is the question. I think it comes down to a lot of the pocket scouts and the demo man just holding down control of what you can. So I think it will matter a lot about keeping those medics in good positions, out the sight lines, making the good calls. But it can also be the soldiers going for crazy plays behind. If you don't protect your sniper properly and the soldier can get in behind, it just causes absolute chaos. I mean, we saw that with Witness a lot, right? In the olden days, especially when the previous one, when Sil was on the team, Sil would just do so much and just go behind. And I feel like that there is a little bit of that in Seer, actually. I saw Seer going for some behind plays, potentially Mackie as well here. So I think their soldiers might do a lot, but I mean, we never know, right? I haven't seen too much of either of these teams on product.
I think we also got to look out for, you know, Varnu switching off to that sniper, but then do you bring in your second scout? Do you ask one of your soldiers to switch over to that scout position? Because if Kazuki starts to snipe, you have to two scouts still. So I don't know who normally switches back on Aragosta to scout in that case, but
I have seen Kazuki scout before. So I think it's not unheard of, but I think it will be interesting to see what they pull out. Also, there is the chance of the heavy. It's a bit of an unseen play, but the heavy sniper, it's a strategy. It's a strategy of all time.
It has been used.
That would break the game. But speaking of the game is going to be going live in just a moment. We're going to have some final predictions. Sodium, who do you think wins product?
To keep my 2-1 prediction from earlier in life, I do have to have Alan win this one, so I'm going to go with that.
Okay, Alan for Sodium. What about you, not Stephen?
I'm going for the Clip Farmers. I think they win this one out.
You think they do think Alan's going to do it?
I think Alan's has got it.
We're going to go to map 3. We might be going to Sunshine, but we might first be going over to product because we've got David D'Amato ready as casters for map number 2 of this low bracket round 1 game.
We are slowly reassuming the actual action, and the theory crafting might come in later once more for everyone who's, by the way, aware of Maurice's online nickname. You can just say he slayed that very first round, but that was really slated for success and setting his own team up for success. That was, you know, a lot of last pushes. Ultimately, the medic was the backcapper, but we enter very productively the second map, Product. Alan's Workshop in the red, Aragosta in the blue.
Absolutely, and it's going to be Impa immediately taking control of this midpoint, just spamming stickies every which way, and as we expected, both snipers up. Kazuki.
That was Sniper!
for
Vanu.
Workshop.
Sometimes, as a medic, you have to cross through the sideline, but for Wild Piggy that is also very hazardous, but the jeopardy here is unleashed by Phoenix instead. Hit in plain sight. Davey falls to the fully charged body shot almost. Omga on a 2k as well finishes off Sia firmly. Alan's Workshop won that very first mid-fight. They still have to keep their eyes out on Vanu.
Absolutely, just popped enough players up into Kazuki's sightline so he was able to get the crucial frag. He's able to win the SVS now as well, taking the first one of that ego matchup on the sniper. And that is going to be really, really nice for Alan's Workshop. 2 players down, 2 picks for them to work
Davey
with.
down to 10 HP, and that forces the Uber to be popped responsively rather, even though they wanted to end up in a proactive situation. But ascertaining the positioning here is Alan's Workshop instead, as on the confluence of those players meeting within the pocket area. Davey falls once more, Iceborne back into the respawn queue, a greeting from Kazuki up to 4k.
Kazuki just finding the frags he needed. Vanu once more taken out. Another shot onto Juxta. He hasn't got the crucial one that he wants onto Maurice just yet, but it seems the team doesn't need it. Already minute wiped off the clock now for Alan's Workshop, and so far Aragosta really haven't got going.
And you can rub your hands, forward hold coming out, Vanu on the pyro though, and there's another crack shot go here. Davey is plucking Wild Piggy apart. There was also Mackie flying in, I think, and still keeps alive, but that was a sizzling cacophony. Phoenix tries to respond in kind, but no! Maurice keeps alive, forward hold halted.
Always a little bit tumultuous to try and
Kazuki?
utilize this forward hold with that sniper. Doesn't quite work out this time. They pay for it. They were aware of it on Aragosta and just went for this. I got Wild Piggy out of there, and now Maurice has full Uber
Kazuki?
ready to go, but no Demo Man.
Did not die. I feel like I probably say Kazuki 20 to 30 times this match, but still on 6 here hasn't died. Maurice also forced, you saw it there with the silhouettes as there was accompanying just fire unleashed. Maurice not able to back out, however, as the glimpse of immortality fades and some more players are fading here. Fading memories only in the respawn queue. The death rattles that signal Alan's Workshop to cap it once more.
Really a nice collapse there from the Alan's Workshop boys. Looked like they were caught out. That Uber went super, super deep onto that side. Really deep onto that cliff, but crucially, the players that were alive, they just circled around, they emerged, and they struck, taking out Maurice and then cleaning up the frags they needed at the tail end of there, and they continued with a big time advantage.
Aragosta do not feature a sniper this time around since they felt they were hamstrung by it, but the headshot in midair! Kazuki died within before, but do you care at all? Even it takes down Sia. Finally, the Dangerman is down. Dave, you said before, he doesn't have a medic frag. After all, this is one for the highlight reel.
Yeah, this is the one he wanted. Devi is lurking. He's looking about thinking of going in for some kind of play. They want to make a play onto Piggy because they really do not have much time to work with. Just over 30 seconds left. Piggy has Uber ready to go, and they're just going to pop it straight in. Quite deep in from Ipo. He's gone all the way up to China to try and find that sniper man, but it's actually going to be only Juxta, the casualty, and everyone else from Aragosta seems to have got out of
Vanu
there.
still has a very potent position here. Wild Piggy is scarpering out alive. He wasn't even aware of what danger he was in. It's only 10 seconds to go! And Kazuki rips them apart once more in the sky. Finally culled by Sia, but only 3 singular seconds to go.
Yeah, really nice sneaky flank from actually Sia it was rather than sneaky, but Vanu now is... I mean, was that his first kill on sniper? He hasn't really found very much. It's been all the Kazuki show so far, but maybe now an opportunity for Vanu to show what he can do. They have control of the point. They took that quite nicely despite Mackie going down there. So now Vanu has some position up towards this point.
And neither a one-trick pony only. I mean, if they can keep that up for 10 more minutes, I think that's definitely going to bode well. Vanu is now trying to peek and scope out the angles here. They try to, yes, enter from a main, helped by the accompanying players, but Sneaky charges in behind. Vanu might not even fall down after all. Ultimately called out, but it was the safe trade eventually. No one else overcommitted.
Yeah, I think they're just playing this smartly. They have such a large time advantage. They only need one successful fight to emerge in their favor. So not taking too many risks, just pushing it slow. They know eventually once they utilize one advantage, it will be enough.
Hello, Kazuki doesn't even take damage. Okay, Meki was focusing on Wild Piggy instead, but now this ends in 1 second. Kazuki not getting another med frag for his logs, but ultimately though, it's still a scuffle for this fight. Yes, the guns are unloaded. Avarices as well to frag down some more players, and Juxta...
Kazuki finds the headshot onto Maurice. He had to stand on top of the point. He had to keep the cup time up, but he pays for it this time. Kazuki doing what he's done all of this round, finding that clutch shot, and now Wild Piggy has a better spot. It's only 20% Uber advantage, so it might be a while, but it looks like they might just try and take the heels and push it.
They want to immediately go forward. Yes, wow, the battle for the Bright Rock Phoenix is eventually Simba after all. And now, though, Juxta is trying, Mufasa, sorry for everyone, is charging now forward here. Vanu on a 2k, they're still keeping this point alive. Maurice has a quarrelsome quarrel for Amga, who is plugged down into the ground. Kazuki not hitting the headshot, only minus 50, and suddenly Wild Piggy falls in the afterfight. What looked so well for Alien's Workshop, it's slowly being taken away from them.
I mean, Kazuki's been hitting so many shots on Sniper, but crucially, Vanu swapped over to the Scout, and they had an extra combat class to win that crucial absolute DM fest on the point with the 5v6. Even though they lost players early, it was enough. They had the extra Scout.
Davey down. And Maurice has an Uber, but no demo man to use it on. If they keep Piggy alive here, it's wonderful for the post-fight. They might not get Uber up, but it doesn't matter if you keep the players alive. Kazuki Kratos to the ground, and Vanu is still parading upon, charading even on his own battlements, but only 7 to 5 seconds to go. They really have to be very fast. You have some overtime to play with. Phoenix is already once more spreading his Phoenix wings. He is ultimately in behind, but it's a bit of an intermittently changed out players. Compartmentalizing on the point. Finally the medic. Wild Piggy in the air, but out of nowhere, Aragosta take that back.
What a turnaround from Aragosta. What a bomb from Maki as well. Just absolutely shunting everyone in that main, under that bridge. Just absolutely destroying. And I have to say, that is a big collapse from Alan's Workshop. They had such a large time advantage for the whole round, and they couldn't convert.
I love how you think, okay, the highlight reel probably that happened within like the 3 or 6 minutes. No, that happened within like a time span of, what, 20 seconds? So it's basically the Kazuki show. But eventually Aragosta coming out with better team play and better adaptations, definitely. But Davey has a wonderful mid-fight, can visit that once more in like 10-second time. Vanu also culled. The Cutchels are out. Meki is hiding in the connector, jumps in toward his own position. Once more, mid-fight win for Alan's Workshop.
Yeah, just really nice defensive position on that mid-fight. Just expecting the bombers to come in, expecting the aggression out of Aragosta, and more than ready for it, finding the frags they needed. Absolutely focusing down those overextenders, getting the early frags, and then easily just able to walk onto the point.
They even had 10% advantage here on Aragosta. It is even then Wild Piggy popping significantly earlier, so 50% Uber duration. That is longer for the side of Aragosta. They don't really do anything out of that. Maybe now they do, as they're reassuming their positions. Phoenix bombs Vanu, Amga shoots Davey apart, Kazuki body shot on Sia. The man advantage in their hands.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of play it slow and try and bait out the cap. And I mean, they got some cap time, but that's always going to work in the favor of the team with the sniper. And eventually, Kazuki's going to hit a shot. He's been hitting just about everything so far this game. And yeah, doesn't seem to be able to be stopped right now. Juxta the next casualty.
Can you read me lotto numbers? I mean, it's not that hard of a guess here to say that KritzKast will probably frag more. I want to cast other players than snipers. Get off that cam! No, but we are eyeing up toward even 20% Uber advantage here toward Aragosta. Maybe they are, yes, slowly taking space through the connector with their flank. Now, I think they want to turn this into a pincer play. KritzKast also into some sort of uncomfortable scenarios. There was Wild Piggy in the front line in as well. They're sort of ripping them apart slowly without even having to use this Uber.
Oh, Mackie was behind for quite a while, but nicely shut down by Phoenix at the crucial moment. And Wild Piggy had players surfing all around his face, and he was just swiveling away every opportunity. He's gone in for the Uber trade now. I mean, he doesn't seem to have gone too well at all. He's backing up, and he doesn't have too much support at the moment. Players are flooding in now to help.
That seems to be illegal. That's a war crime. Vanu now tries to battle Sneaky, but the trajectory beam is calling him back to the mothership. Vanu now still shoots with his scattergun. Very lethal, we've seen that, but Phoenix already taking up to the air, making landfall on the entrance door of his own connector. They're only really controlling their own concrete area. Maybe KritzKast can once more open this all up, though edging the point.
Yep, and taking out Vanu as well. That's going to make these soldiers just sack in, but once more, Wild Piggy is a man that they can't seem to touch, can't seem to find the rockets that they need, and he's going to survive, he's going to thrive, and he's going to go forward on the forward hold.
We talked about it in the previous map. Wild Piggy went down 3 times. I'm not even surprised by that. The mechanics are insane, the gameplay is as well, but do they count for Vanu with a stab? And that holds this forward hold. That is not what hold says in this terminology, but I guess this is how you can open it up.
Yeah, hasn't been doing too much on Sniper, but switches straight over to the Spy, and on really good timing as well. He knew that forward hold was coming. He pre-saged it. He goes up, and obviously they're not checking for the Spy. They're not turning around. It's land. It's a little bit harder. It's a little bit messy. It's a little bit chaotic, and the Spy play comes through.
This is so dangerous looking from Maurice's point of view, but he was holding on steadfast there. But Sia is the one who falls. KritzKast up to a 3k, racking up already on it, and only 90 seconds to go here for Alan's workshop. Ultimately, they lose the snap in the main area. Should not really be of any sort of importance for this follow-up fight, since Yompo might be down. It's a forward hold, I'm guessing, that they now have to crack down, since 100% Uber in Maurice Bank, but they don't really feel comfortable holding forward.
Yeah, it's kind of like a semi-forward hold, as you say. They're just backing up. They're not super comfortable. That does allow space for KritzKast. KritzKast is trying to make the most of it. Fires off a couple of shots, doesn't find quite what he wants, but Mack is just going to play up top. Duel with Phoenix. Vanu is there to follow up. A really nice rocket from Phoenix just to shut down Vanu. He's going to back him out there, but Davey is launching down all the way onto Cliff. Gonna take out KritzKast, gonna shut down that sniper. So actually very smartly played there by Aragosta, just baiting them forward and then once more pouncing once that sniper had committed.
Aragosta is still laying siege in a form of a forward hold to the enemy team, and even if Wild Piggy and Entourage do feature 100% and an Uber advantage in that, it's very difficult since you have so much ground taken away from you, and you see this, they have to pop out so early, only regain Makey. As a frag, Maurice down to solo on HP, jump on a 2k, jumping in, the Everest, the guns unlocked, Davey even with the pipe into Wild Piggy.
Yeah, it might not be enough though for Aragosta. Alan's Workshop taking so many crucial frags, winning the fight overall. Just the cleanup coming through from Sneaky. He's gonna start the cap, at least wait for a couple of spawns, making sure he's not delaying, then getting back of it. Absolutely heads up play. Gonna be 15 seconds left, and it's all up to Aragosta. They have to win this next fight dry.
Both teams are cutting it very close. We saw that in the prior round, but KritzKast, if he hits one or more 2 shots, that might definitely change the flow and the dynamic of this game. They have to step on the point though. No one is doing it from Aragosta. Only one cap time coming in right now, and so many players are still conglomerating up upon it. Wild Piggy stays alive. Maurice does not.
Oh my word, less than 200 health between those 4 players there on Aragosta, but it is enough, and I think Sia was down to 1, but survives throughout all of it, and they did exactly what they needed to do. They won the crucial fight, but the bad news for them is Wild Piggy has Uber ready to go. ready to cap this out.
Sia Kratos ultimately on his own rocket. Sorry, mind you, they get 2 frags here, but I think once they are not in decent positions in the afterfight, they could even lose this theoretically. Never mind though, Mackie is down, so it's a 5 versus 2 situation. You know how this is going to ring out as Alan's Workshop. They like to cut it close for the fans at home. They had a lead of around 2 minutes, akin to the very first round, and you see Aragosta end with the 7 seconds.
Yeah, really smartly played. Just sticking to their guns, sticking to their strategy, not being unsettled in any way from that little bit of a fumble on that first round and coming through strong. Kazuki's still hitting enough, still getting enough frags, and they're still playing around him to a decent degree. And that is able to net them around.
Pressuring aptly. Davey not going down in the very first 5 seconds. I wanted to say no. Kazuki opts for Mackie instead. So if you always lose one player, it's a 5 versus 4 scenario here. And when you count out the snipers, the soldier and the scout is charging in the air, tries to hop out like a little bunny rabbit. Phoenix, by the way, in all of this, killed Maurice.
Yeah, so many players committing to go down onto Vanu, but the big committal that they had was that medic frag. So once more, Wild Piggy has a big advantage, ready to go. They're just going to buff Kazuki up on this rock area. He's going to back up just now that the cap has come in. They're expecting some bombers to come their way. Playing with this Uber advantage, playing back, playing around the sniper.
I feel the vibes reverberating through the venue from Alan's Workshop, probably settling into a more comfortable lead, but now the suicidal waves come in. Wild Piggy pops on 20 HP. Vanu headshots Yampo. Davey finishes himself off, but the Force comes out.
Force comes out. They don't find what they want. I mean, Vanu is fragged. Sia just about sneaks out of there as well. But Maurice was the target they really wanted. He just about played safe enough on that cliff area, backed up just enough. He's going to preserve himself throughout all and crucially preserve this chunky Uber advantage as well.
Always very difficult for medics since they have to cross through the sideline eventually. You can't commit so many players forward. Kazuki still though finds Davey. Yompo is body shot down as a counter frag to fall in their disfavor. Maurice hasn't used yet. They still haven't capped yet either though. Kazuki headshots Jaxa. Vanu headshots Kazuki. But both snipers off the field and Aragosta still haven't capped.
Yeah, it's just going to be Alan's Workshop resetting, resembling, and standing tall on top of this point. Going nicely, they don't have to really worry about anything. Brief window now, Kazuki only just spawning, and once more he's going to pick up the sniper rifle. I don't know if we'll ever see him swap off.
Probably not, but we see another Uber engagement here. It's basically equal in terms of the duration, in terms of the flashes. Juxta has a mildly longer Uber duration, but there's another soldier setting into the sky and making landfall. Maurice is once more visiting the respawn queue, and the soldiers really set the enemy team ablaze. Alan's Workshop this time, once more, massive lead. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want them for Aragosta now to tick down 2 minutes and 53 seconds.
Yeah, only the one soldier on Alan's Workshop, but he is making the most of it. Phoenix with a really nice bomb just landing on that bridge, finding, not only cutting off that medic, but also landing the damage down on him as well. Nice, actually, trap catches out Sia and the headshot onto Juxta. He's having a rough time of things. Vanu's absolutely deleted. Maurice is going to have to back up all the way to spawners, all the blue players fall in the meantime.
Munch, and Piggy cannot even be a card out, hops out once more out of the abattoir, out of the slaughterhouse. Kazuki as another go at it here with enough bullets for everyone who dares visit his sideline. Only 20 seconds to go. Basically, Uber's set in a parity stake. The same paradigm that they worked off before has bared fruits once more. Kazuki is still looking very much to rattle some more corpses or soon to be corpses, but it's a better and longer Uber duration here for Aragosta. They have to step on the point though.
Yeah, but Onga and Sneaky just cleaning everyone up in the meantime. They're trying to go forward here, but there's just no players. There's just nothing doing at all. And finally, Juxta is taken out. That's finally going to be a frag that wasn't to a Kazuki headshot. And it is just an absolute no round there for Aragosta. 2-1 Alan's Workshop.
This round they cannot hold a candle to Alan's Workshop. We have a special guest, however, from our online tournaments. The special guest is named Pause. Pause, my prediction from me, a tactical one for Aragosta. They could have been. By the way, I just hear the cheering in the background. I have to cast this highlight. It's insane what KritzKast just cooks up in the matter of the 2 rounds that we already see. But I mean, Aragosta, it could have definitely looked 1-1, maybe even closer than that for them. But eventually, it's a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's smart to take this pause because they just got absolutely rocked that round. Just nothing happened for them. I mean, Mackie was jumping in constantly, trying to find something to happen, but they were just shutting it down so consistently, so easily over on Alan's workshop. And it felt like Juxta was playing with that big heads mod because he was just getting domed every single time he walked forward. There was nowhere safe on the map for him to enter because KritzKast just had his number every time.
I have a comment from a other game format that you're very aware of, Dave, but I will not mention here, where there are constant pick classes, and I sort of feel relieved that I see those medics having to suffer the same fate, because product, you have to walk through a sideline eventually. You can only do so much as dodge, especially if you cannot afford to send, for example, 2 constant soldiers forward to deter the sniper from taking a shot at you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've known forever, basically, that as a sniper is very, very impactful. This map, very, very powerful. The sightlines are crazy on this map. But there was a while, at least, you know, at the top of Prem, where teams seemed to have kind of learned how to deal with the sniper, and it was much, much less commonly used. But seems we've kind of shifted back into this meta where teams once more have got a little bit better at playing around that sniper, utilizing the defensive, making sure you have 2 scouts up to shut down all those bombers. And if you can't commit super deep, you can't get those bombs onto the sniper, he's very difficult to deal with, and eventually he's just going to find something, even if it's just a body shot.
I also want to turn the few, or not even that few, we saw many Uber engagements, the Uber engagements from the sidelight into the limelight, I suppose, or put the raking light and turn that into a highlight on those Uber exchanges. Honestly, for me, at least in the sort of first half of it, it felt as if Aragosta definitely had their tactics put together very well, but it seems, as I said, I feel the vibes reverberating, and Alan's workshop is definitely improving on those sort of Uber engagements. They also feel as if right now their game plan is working. I think they're, you know, slowing it down a little bit, keeping calm, keeping collected, and just call out the sniper, call out what side you want to pressure.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised here if Alan's workshop were kind of not doing, not even talking about it at this stage. As you say, their game plan has just been working to a T the last couple of rounds. They're probably just chilling back. Maybe someone's giving KritzKast a bit of a massage, because that's all they need. They don't need to make any kind of tactical adjustments.
Yep.
It's obviously down to Aragosta. They've got to think through this a little bit. I mean, they've tried a bit of Vanu Sniper, who hasn't really matched up to KritzKast very effectively. They've tried, I mean, I thought they looked a little bit better in that second round when Vanu was playing Scout. He got much, much higher up the scoreboard, just running around, tearing everyone up with that scattergun. But overall, on a macro sense, they weren't able to secure that round. They weren't able to find exactly what they need, and they just don't seem to be able to shut down KritzKast right now.
The pause ends, and it's now locked in. A 2-1 lead here for Alan's Workshop. I like this mental image that Alan's Workshop is going to take that pause of Aragosta to just massage KritzKast there, maybe, you know, just loosening the trigger finger there a bit, and now could be the final round here on our second map. Aragosta took the very first one with a very clutch backcap by Maurice, but Alan's Workshop is leading now, and they are definitely the brute force that forced open so many doors. Vanu on the upper hand.
Yeah, solid 4 or 5 minute pause, but looks like they're sticking with the same idea. I mean, it's a different sniper rifle. It's actually the classic that they're going to go in for. But Juxta once more immediately dies to KritzKast. They're going in for the plays here. I mean, they probably have enough frags to work with. Davey just spamming some long-range mortar pipes, trying to hit KritzKast, trying to hide away from him. Actually, Vanu is able to take him out.
In something even more genuine than this very sniper rifle, the taunt afterwards. So KritzKast, a new sniper, fresh in new with new energy, has entered the fight. Vanu still tries to scope out the angles. Alan's Workshop a bit on the back foot right now, but that shouldn't really change their success formula, as still both snipers on the field. KritzKast opting more for his own cliff. Maybe there's a loose frag just laying around in the terms of Mackie, but no, I think Uber engagement happens now.
Yeah, just Uber trade. It's just really taken out onto Davey, and Sneaky's having to think about going in for something deep, going in for Vanu, but Vanu's able to hide, but he's not able to hide away from the Phoenix bomb. Just jumping cliff to cliff, finding what he needs, finding that sniper frag. Maki taken out in the air as well, and that's a really nice initiation for Alien's Workshop, and they can get on the point now.
Wonderfully curated and compartmentalized their own resources. The soldiers took the forward ground, so they sort of denied any forward progress from the blue team, and that enabled so much space for the scouts to clean up the stragglers that were still left in the forefront. Vanu settles onto Jaina. Not that of a budget! Not that much of a budget sideline. Wild Piggy goes down to 10 to 20 HP. Now it's a follow-up rocket though from Maki. Wild Piggy, not long for this world. The headshot comes in, but he has already inflicted the damage.
Oh my word, and Phoenix at exactly the same time bombed onto Maurice, got 2 rockets down, got about 130 HP off him, but wasn't able to secure the frag.
I thought Omgar was the main character. No, Maki was the main character in this clip. He almost even laid a claim there on the opposing team's medic. It's a bit of a forward hold. I want to say Vanu was, for the longest time, the only one really forward holding. Backs out now.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, once more we can see they're not happy to go for a super aggressive forward hold. They're just going to play back a little bit. Probably just going to bait Kazuki in once more to a slightly more aggressive position and then pull the trigger. You can see Sia initiating a little bit of a fake bomb at the moment. Not really transferring their hand, not really throwing themselves at their opposition. But now Sia once more in with the bomb. Pops him up in the air. Nice little shot onto him, but he's not going to secure the frag. It's allowing Davey to just walk forward, but Impo survives throughout all of it.
Impo went down to 1 singular HP, and after all, though, there was set up a wonder wall, and that wonder wall was called just trusting your teammates and not using Uber. And they're still holding on to this midpoint here. Finally, though, the glowing players are in. Wild Piggy didn't even have, only 1 to 2 seconds separated him from having, but Yampo is sapped of all of his vitality. Juxta has a bit of a rivalry there with Omgar. Omgar ultimately reigns triumphant, reigns superior in this fight. Another go here at it. So much damage onto the main area. Kazuki down, but now Aragosta firmly put into the dumpster.
Yeah, not a good play at all by Aragosta there. I mean, they have a lot of time
they know about
off
Vanu?
this round.
Do they know about Vanu? Does Vanu know about Vanu? No, they do not know about Vanu. Omgar down, but sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really out of sync. I mean, we haven't really seen them do too many aggressive sack waves, too many aggressive plays like that, and I mean, that did not work whatsoever. They have time to work with, but they need to focus, and they can't fumble around this time.
Could be the case. Maki is only trying to lure some more players in, ultimately keeps alive. Sia does not in the midst of all of this. Aragosta claimed that point. Vanu takes down Phoenix and puts him into bloody bits eventually. But it's a lead. It feels for me, for the very first time now, for Aragosta, Vanu is definitely helping his team out. So much damage plugged forward. Yampo still 2 seconds spawner.
Yeah, all he needed was to swap over to the inferior sniper rifle, and he
it.
makes the most of it. But I mean, just Ubering in quite deep here, but only really finding that one frag on to Devi. When it's a nice frag, it's always a big frag to get onto the demo man, and also when you win the SBS at the same time. Sets up nicely here for Alien's Workshop, but not too much room to maneuver.
We jinxed it. Can Aragosta though make anything out of it? The medic was not shot there. Retain, sustain your Uber advantage. Ultimately though, getting ready to attain as the jolt force of those players is trying to send shock waves through the enemy team. Nothing though is found, easily kited by the jumping players. Only 12 seconds to go once Aragosta recap, but it is still a shot here that Alien's Workshop have to go forward. Losing Omgar, however, very bad health on them as well. The counter jumps come in, but the cap does as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting to overtime here, Aragosta, and that is really good news for them. Sneaky once more, just delaying the cap, going to wait for Phoenix to spawn those 2 seconds, then stand on top of it. But Royce got out of there, so it's only going to be like 50% Uber advantage for Wild Piggy. But, you know, with just over a minute left to go, they're probably, I mean, they have an option. They could either go for a sack wave now or just wait for their Uber.
If you wondered why Vanu was doing the taunt, he wanted to try, or he gave himself vision there in third person. This also enables Sia to bump in. Kazuki is down, the force comes out. Aragosta are finding themselves into the same position as Alien's Workshop was in before. The Uber at least rips some more players apart. Vanu doesn't even need an Uber to rip other players apart.
Yeah, I said going for a sack wave. It was literally just a one-man seer just jumping all the way in and got everything he needed. But Vanu has continued to pop off with the space that has been made, with the heads that have been turned. The heads have now been taken out by that classic of Vanu, and just everyone going down. Juxta able to take this Uber quite aggressive. They have to block, but no one is there.
It ends here. The Finn de Siècle. Aragosta definitely better on the conversion rates when it is needed in the end, and not really replicated there by Alan's workshop. But I mean, we see it here, the snipers, and this time though Vanu not only taunting but making a fair arrangement of cadavers of the enemy team. We enter, Dave, the final round here, the 5th round on product. If Aragosta takes it, they are traveling way further through the playoff stages. If Alan Workshop do not win, they're out.
Yeah, and this time Vanu opts in to just play cheekily on this concrete area. Doesn't find that first little shot on to anyone. No one's initiating just yet, just biding the time. Phoenix, though, he's going to jump in. He sees Vanu on that little boxes area, but it's taken out, dealt with easily. Actually, Wild Piggy, Davey just plows forward, takes out Wild Piggy. No one was there to stop him, and he absolutely mulched this team.
Wild Piggy surfed out the rocket of Mackie, but Davey was in there as well, so only so much a medic can do, especially if Alan's workshop cap now. By the way, it doesn't really lengthen your own respawn timers if it's the very first cap of this round, but Aragosta are prone to pounce on that point instantly.
Yeah, they're already going to tip it in their favor, but immediately the bombs are in from Phoenix, getting the force out of Maurice. Everyone is going to try and scoot out there, try to evacuate. Actually, at the moment, everyone's alive, and there's no blue players to work with whatsoever. They're going to have to back up. They're going to have to make sure they don't get taken down. And, you know, despite that really big play from Mackie and Davey, they haven't really capitalized off it. And now it's going to be Wild Piggy with considerable advantage.
Maurice still not out of harm's way yet. Also, before... well, never mind that, as Action is already so fast shifting, so it's once more snipers. I wanted to comment on Uber exchange it, but it doesn't really matter. Alan's workshop still have a 30 to 40% Uber advantage and have the grabs on that point. It is really level packing here.
Oh!
It's another suicide wave! Wild Piggy! Down.
Absolutely dumps it there. Pops up Davey jumping in, launching up Wild Piggy in the air, and then followed up with the classic. Nice little frag there. Nice little, oh my god, just crazy, crazy stuff. So much great synchronization there, and really utilizing this classic in the most imaginable way.
Punch after punch thrown. It is now the turn for Alan's workshop to throw another punch at the enemy team, since the suicide wave is probably what we are strapping in for. The flank is a little bit busted open here. Phoenix doesn't have enough sobriety to keep alive. Wild Piggy might also be caught out. Juxta is chasing. Juxta is chasing. Juxta is chasing. And Wild Piggy is not on the server anymore. He also has 5 complementary players to follow them there. Full wipe Aragosta on a roll.
Wow, he was really on the chase there, Juxta. He went deep, and they go for the full team wipe. They smelt blood, and they absolutely bared their fangs, taking out the Alan's Workshop gamers. Now they're going to have to deal with the 4-down. They're going to try the Pyro.
You have to do that, and like Omga missed 3 exact reflects. Honestly, they are still trying to bust this one out. Maurice is down though! That is the most clinical player that you want to eradicate. Phoenix is the salvaging factor.
Yeah, Wild Piggy just playing nice and safe all the way back in spawn. He wasn't building because he didn't have any teammates around him, so it's only going to be about 60% Uber advantage now by the time Maurice spawns. But crucially, they've broken the forward hold, they've got rid of the medic. They haven't dealt with Vardy yet, though. He's up to a 4 kill streak now, finding that frag onto Sneaky, finding the headshot that he required to continue this absolute reign of terror.
I would say in this scenario it is almost as valuable as a medic kill there, since Sneaky is the team leader. He's also having the main comms in that compartment. Also the Uber is first concurrently. Wild Piggy now has a 60% Uber advantage. They're probably aware of that, but assuming a forward wall here onto the enemy team's cliff, Phoenix doesn't find anything. Can he flank from behind? Does anyone see him? No! 1 rocket, 2 rockets, 3 rockets! And Maurice is going down. Phoenix is doing it all.
Yeah, Phoenix doing his absolute best. I mean, they don't have too many other players to work with now, and Davey knows it. He's chasing forward, Sia jumping as well. They're going to have to fight quite a lot. Actually, Wild Piggy eats some spam walking in, so he's probably going to have to back up all the way to spawn. And throughout all of this, despite that medic frag, despite everything going in their favor on a kind of total strategical level, they've lost so much time that they're now at almost a minute disadvantage.
The medic pick only turns into relevancy right now, I want to say, but Vanu on a 6k, he's doing a Kosuki impression instead. Vanu is even shooting Phoenix in the air. Kratos, that's a 7k. They have an Uber advantage, but no real players to use it on. Also haven't even kept the point. They are rattled so much by Aragosta. Wild Piggy has an Uber advantage, but only 15 seconds to go.
Yep, they absolutely need to make the most of it. They're just going to launch it in. It's Impo. It's sneaky. They're chasing forward. Davey is the casualty, but that's not the casualty that they want. Maurice is back nice and safe in the spawn.
Counter
This
jump.
time there's no Phoenix in the
Maggie
backlines.
with the counter jump on Wild Piggy. They weren't safeguarding their own medic. Phoenix though kills Meki. Kazuki kills Vanu. I think they are though scarpering out, shielding their own medic in their own respawn queue. And if they win this off now, I think it's all on Phoenix. Maybe someone gets the early force, gets a drop. Those are the only two options I can see. That this is still for Alan's Workshop in the ballpark here.
Yeah, they only have a second to work with, so they can't really give up the cut by any means. And it's just going to be used out onto Devi, jumping forward,
Good kite.
launching forward. He is kited nicely, but now the cap time is surely going to come in. Omga has to give his life for it, has to jump on the point just to block. They've lost a few players here, actually have Aragosta, so Juxta is there looking to continue the charge, looking to continue the cap time down, but it hasn't been sealed just yet.
But Aragosta is helped massively by the faster respawn, so Kazuki spawning in 5 seconds, Omga only spawning now, so they're taking this, and already Macking is making landfall here on Wild Piggy. No heals in the fight anymore. You have to have so much deathmatch still to make out the deficiencies that you don't have a medic alive. Davey is falling, but they're banking around the medic Uber situation, the medic advantage situation. Maurice on 70%. This might be the most clinical 10 seconds here for both of those teams. They're already charging 4-3 and some aggressive banner have some overtime to still play for Aragosta. The next 1 or 2 frags that fall down into their DOS favor might sample them, but no, Juxta rips them apart. 7k, Omga down, Sneaky down, Aragosta say, we want revenge, we take revenge, and they take revenge.
Aragosta coming through clutch. Beautiful stuff from them. And just about sealing it. They had a big tactical pause. They thought about it for quite a while. And it seemed the solution they came through with was Vanu on the Classic. But